Planning a trip to Portugal? Whether you're exploring Lisbon, surfing in Ediceto, or road tripping through the Alentejo, staying connected is essential. I use Airalo every time I travel, even on some surfboat trips, adventures to the Maldives. So when we connected to collaborate, I was really genuinely happy. Airalo's eSIMs give you instant data the moment you land in a foreign country. No queues, no physical SIM cards, just seamless, reliable coverage. Travel smarter, stay connected, download Airalo before your next adventure. Follow this link in the show notes to get connected today. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. I'd like to extend a really warm welcome to Tim Haldorsson. He is from Lunar Strategy and a few other things. He's founded a couple of companies here in Portugal, and I'm fascinated to talk to him about, what is it like to be in the tech sphere in Portugal, and to explain some of the things that he does and some of the companies and what they provide. Tim, hello.
Hey, Justin. Happy to be here and chat about the tech space and what's happening here in Portugal and Lisbon especially.
Great. Yeah, I mean, we've been in contact for a while, backwards and forwards, trying to organize things, and I'm really appreciative of your time, and we've finally got together, and I can sit back and you can tell me, probably firstly, why Portugal? Why did you, because you're not native of Portugal, and you've obviously have some tech knowledge that you developed, and you've come here, and you believe that Portugal and Lisbon specifically is ripe for setting up tech companies.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Sweden, and I was living like 2 years in Asia, a bit back and forth between Sweden and different parts of Asia, and then back in 2019, I got a job here in Lisbon, actually, for Google's marketing support, the Swedish and the Nordic markets. And I moved here, packed my bags, and said goodbye to Sweden, and moved here full time. Then fairly quickly, I realized that and before that, I had like a marketing and journalist background. And when I first moved here, so it was a job for the Google support in Swedish and in the Nordic countries. And then what happened fairly quickly was I realized I was very good at the marketing part. So I started freelancing on the side. And then back then it was when COVID just happened, which meant that I had so much more spare time instead of traveling like an hour and a half every day to work and on the weekends. So I was freelancing. And then fairly quickly, basically what happened was that it turned into 2 jobs. So I was earning more on the freelancing side as I did on the full-time job. And then I kicked off starting off a company here in Lisbon. And then it has just been growing and growing and growing. And why I initially chose Portugal as the place to go to was initially for the job, but then also because it was, even back then, like 2019, 2018, it was even like one of the leading like spaces in like crypto and in fintech and in and good energy. And then, of course, the sun also was a strong motivating factor early on.
Yeah. And what was that first company called that you set up?
Lunar Strategy.
Okay. And
so it basically was, I started freelancing just myself, and then when this was just after I quit my normal full-time job. And then when you're good at something, then you get more and more clients coming in, and then I had to hire one person, and then I hired another, and then another, and another, and then over the last almost 7 years running an agency, now we are around 30 people. And a large majority of them are based in our Lisbon office.
Wow. And you're sort of marketing what is it that what is the sort of customers or clients come to you and they have what's a typical sort of case study that you help your clients with?
So it's primarily in the in the fintech space. So crypto, neobanks, basically very much fintech. And for them, we help with PR, working with the content creators, social media, and basically all of the above. We also host a lot of events for our clients, which could be like a VC dinner, a meetup, and that we do across Europe. And we also have some clients that want to host like events in Dubai and Singapore, Brussels, all across like the world basically. And we help them then to set up like an let's say an investor evening or different types of events.
Okay, perfect. So your typical clients come from all over the world, really, all over the globe, attracted to Portugal because of the space and because of your service. And I'm guessing the Web Summit also plays a good part in advertising Portugal and Lisbon as a sort of tech environment, I guess.
Yeah, no. So in the Tech Summit, we have been very closely running events around those couple of weeks there for the last 4 years because it's like a place where I think it was 100,000 people coming to Lisbon for like a week. Many people stay like 2 weeks. And what we did, so this was about 2 years ago or like a year and a half ago. We wanted to host an AI conference at the same time. So we actually had like 3 or 4 of our clients that were all in like the AI fintech space. And for them, we decided to put together like an AI con. This was like the week before Web Summit. So then we rented a very big space and we had 1,300 people coming to our event here in Lisbon. It was 2 days and 70 AI speakers. And Web Summit is always like a big event here in Lisbon. And either we host like a big conference like that, or last year we hosted, I think we hosted 5 different afterworks over those days, and for different types of clients, and also some hackathons. It's usually a good mix because so many developers are flying in, and it's a perfect opportunity when everybody comes together at one place in the center of Europe.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So that really the Web Summit has almost been like a magnet. And do you know who was behind the Web Summit and who set it all up and who was whose brainchild was it? Because it's really been quite fantastic for Lisbon and Portugal. And for Europe, actually.
So Web Summit, they have a few different founders, and they're like a media company, and they've also been hosting some in the Middle East. So I'm not close with them personally because we usually run events around it. So they are more like the tech and more on the broad one, and we do it more niched for our clients around it and take advantage of the attention around it.
Yeah.
So, but they're a big entity, and I know that they're running Web Summit. I think some Web Summits in the Middle East as well, and it has definitely become like the largest tech event in Europe, and people love to come to. Also, that part of the year is very beautiful. Even though it's like almost winter, it still is good weather here, and it's still a good time.
Yeah. It just goes to show sort of with whoever laid the groundwork for these things, and people take advantage of them, and then that spawns other events, and it brings people in from the tech space, and everybody shares ideas. It's a really cool thing, and I applaud it really, and you could just see you are proof that success comes from that sort of gathering of people. It's very cool. It's very cool. And so you're moving. We were talking about you're moving quite a lot now into the AI space. Now it's a sort of buzzword at the moment on everything. Everybody's personally for the podcast. I can give you a very good example. I'm not a sound engineer, and I used to struggle with sound engineering, for the different packages you could use and just the difficult technical stuff. And it used to take me a long time, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I tried to get everything too correct. And then it would sound terrible at the end until I was approached by a company called Phonics, and I literally just upload a raw WAV file, a WAV file, and within about 30 minutes, I download an MP3 file, all edited, and just sounds absolutely amazing. And now I can actually do interviews with reasonable sound quality through Zoom. So it's a game changer. So it means that one person like me, we can focus more time on sales. We can do other things, and I'm not spending so much time sort of in the editing suite. And it's just small examples like that, and a lot of the text that we write, and a lot of the research that we do, we sort of use different, the very basic stuff, ChatGPT or Perplexity or whoever. Claude is the other one that we're starting to use a lot more. And it just, from my perspective, from somebody who's trying to be an entrepreneur and just to sort of run a small media company or whatever, it's super interesting and super practical. Yeah.
I think it's so with AI. I remember when ChatGPT was launched back in 2023, and right away I was like, yeah, this is going to change everything. And we actually we spent a lot of money internally on building like an AI marketing course back in 2023. So a little bit over about 3 years ago. And we went all in on it. But then what quickly was like, it wasn't ready fully for prime time. I remember back then, like, because it didn't really fly. So then we kind of like kept it like to internal. We just used it internally. And then I think it was last year when Claude launched like a new model, and we were like, hallelujah. It's
that's the Sonnet.
here.
Sonnet, is it Sonnet 4 or 4.0 or something like that?
Yeah, that was one of them. And then they launched like the Opus series.
Yeah.
And I remember just viewing it, and it was because you could connect so many more data sources to it, and it was like next level. And internally, we have built up like very advanced AI systems. Like all meetings are recorded with like Fireflies, note takers, all of our client workshops, and we have built up like a full AI operating system within our agency, which meant that could be very productive, and we could get very good data for our clients. So in January of this year, I was like, yeah, now it's prime time. AI is here. It's primed. It's ready for the main stage, and it's ready. So we actually split the agency a bit into two. So we have like 20 people on the Lunar strategy and the marketing arm. And then we have around 8 people right now working full-time on Espressio AI, which is our AI implementation arm that is just focused on building in AI agents and AI systems into enterprises.
Wow.
And with that one, we have partnered with Anthropic. So I think we are now, because we had to get 10 people within our team certified. So I think we're just finalizing some of the certifications that we need there. And then I became an ambassador for OpenAI and their Codex model. And then at our Lisbon office, we have been hosting events with Anthropic. We have some coming up with OpenAI, or this weekend we have another big of the AI labs. And then we were just, because we have an office in the central of Lisbon near Marquês de Pombal, where we have a perfect event space. And we can have like 60, 70, 80 people coming to our office for like afterworks or panels or a mix of it. And then we decided to reach out to all of these AI labs and the ones that are building there. And now we have kind of, here in Lisbon, we have kind of made our office into the go-to AI builder workspace where we can, where we invite all of the biggest labs, and then we just push it forward, and it's super exciting to see what you can achieve with it.
Yeah, it's this sort of people coming together, and creative. So the implementation of AI, are you seeing more like small business and entrepreneurs and stuff able to adapt quickly to it, or are you seeing some of the bigger organizations that maybe it's slower to adapt to new technologies? And what's your sort of vision for that? I'm guessing it's sort of, you can tell that from your client base, who's able to adapt AI into their systems very quickly.
Yeah. So it's the $1 million question. If I could say like, okay, so every single company in this area are going to implement AI this way. You could buy shares in these companies and you could forecast everything. But I think what we're seeing is that it's building up like two different, like the gap between the AI native and the people that are adopting AI and the people that are, let's say, anti-AI or not adopting AI is widening, which means that if you use the tools very well and you are fully native as a company and you're kind of like everything you do is like AI first, those companies are achieving so much more, higher quality, better data than the companies that are not doing it.
Mm.
And there's many reasons for why a company should adapt it. And there's also many reasons why they maybe shouldn't. And what we are seeing is that some companies go the all in route, and other companies are it's not that good, and the gap between the two is just widening, and it's a little bit a scary thought because a lot of companies are going to be disrupted, and they're going to wake up one day and say like,
missed the boat.
they missed the boat, yeah. And then that there's like 10 other competitors that can move 10 times as fast as them because they're AI native.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing to see, and it's also very exciting to see when we go to like a team and we can see like just by implementing a few different AI systems and AI agents, they can save 40% of their time, or they can save this, and it's it's quite incredible how quickly it has moved.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure one of the key factors is efficiencies, and I can possibly see, some companies, they're sort of like, I don't know how to adapt this but what I think it is, I don't think it's a fear. I think it's a lack of open-mindedness, I guess, into what the potential could be for your company. And I can imagine being a CEO of a company and thinking, okay, this AI stuff, who do we have in-house that can sort of have a vision for our company and to utilize it, to optimize it. And I would imagine that, as a CEO, you probably struggle with that vision. I think to find or to look to a company like yours and say, okay, look, this is what we do, and this is how the systems run at the moment. How could AI help our company? How could AI create better efficiencies, better systems, better data analysis? And is that something that you guys do at Espressio?
We are very much focused just on like SaaS, fintech, and tech companies, and also only within marketing and business development.
Okay.
Because we are not trying to like change we're not trying to change the world, or we are super niched within marketing and business development agent workflows, because that's where we have like perfected it for ourselves over the last couple of years, and then that's where we sit. You do start to see like I think Anthropic invested 100 million into partnerships with like consulting firms, and you could also see, I think OpenAI also launched like a massive fund together with like these biggest like let's say the top 4 consulting firm in the world to drive adoption within enterprises. And you can see that like that the biggest AI labs are all in on the enterprise transformation, and they're trying to win over all of them, all of the different teams. And I think that those like Ernst and Young and those big consulting firms are kind of like going all in on helping companies to implement it. And but it's also quite hard, like, because you can't. It's very hard to change, let's say, the culture within a company to be AI native, and a lot of them are like, we have done this for 20 years. Like, I don't want to change now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I think you often need to have somebody internally as well that is like cutting edge and pushing it forward as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with the question. Is it these larger organizations that find they're slower to adapt, or is it more towards the small agencies, almost like how you guys started? The smaller, and you adapt and you grow along the sort of using that type of technology.
And a very interesting book is like the Innovator's Dilemma. And it I think it was written by, I think the guy from Salesforce did something diving into it. And it always comes back to that, like, big companies, are they fast enough to transform, or are they going to be outcompeted by like a small, faster mover? And what types of moats does a company have? I think what we are seeing is that, like, if you're a team of 25 people and you have a very strong leadership, let's say like a founder, CEO, it's quite easy for that person to just say, this is what we do, and you just have to implement it. But then when you come up to, let's say, you're 200, 300, 500 people in a company, and there's like 5 layers of middle management, then it's quite hard, because then each layer has different visions of what they want to do, and then it kind of like you don't get anywhere.
These are Chinese whispers.
Exactly, because then it's like
get lost,
each layer it gets like delayed and delayed and delayed, and you can't move so fast. So I think right now we are seeing like those 25, 50 people firms are doing it quite well, because it's much easier with strong leadership and, like, let's say, less layers of management. But for the bigger ones, then it really depends on what industry you're in.
Yeah. So I'm sort of seeing that you could have optimal company size, 25, 30 employees, and then AI running a lot of the sort of middle management stuff that and workflows. Yeah, interesting, and and then a CEO it makes it more able to communicate what's going on through the systems, I guess. Yeah, that's fascinating. I never really thought about it like that.
I think another good example is, like, I read there was a report recently about Mark Zuckerberg from Meta. So he himself got a whole department that has the only goal of giving him the information of what's going on around in the whole company.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
And then he built his own agent that he wanted to have, like, as a kind of like as a co-CEO that is giving all the same data to him, where he basically has one agent that is like plugged into everything that is going on within the company. It is a little bit scary as well when Meta, for example, had they are tracking employees' like keystrokes and what they do on their computers, and they install like some new software to basically AI track what every single person in the company do. A little bit like scary in some ways, but imagine if Mark Zuckerberg has an agent that knows every single thing that is happening within the company. That's a quite powerful agent, and then he can ask that for decisions, and he can kind of like co-lead the company together with an agent, instead of like having a full department that is reporting to him.
Yeah, that's completely crazy. Because I'd imagine, you're the top of these companies. I can imagine someone like me who likes to sort of be aware and not micromanage, but at least be aware of each different thing. It's a matter of like sort of cutting data almost, or just being very specific with messaging, and it's very interesting. And that then you lose a lot of the nuance. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, it's very interesting, and I think from my perspective as well, there was a key couple of things for the podcast. Anyway, we talked a bit about the production quality of our phonic, but it's also we have a big. I don't like doing sales, basically. To try to get guys to book sponsored episodes or book ad space on here. We have a couple of people that do that for us, and but I have this vision that we could be using some kind of AI system to do that for us, and simply just sort of getting ourselves in front of potential advertisers or potential sponsors. That is a huge challenge, and in the moment, when I first started doing this, I was sending like 100 emails a day, or and then we'd get perhaps like 10 replies, and then following up, and pretty much crashed my Apple my Apple email system, which was just couldn't handle the
Yeah.
So then I started looking at other systems. And now we kind of work a lot with LinkedIn, through LinkedIn. It seems to be giving us good access. But I'm still looking for some kind of AI system or something that I can just rely on to do all of our contact and to sort of outreach. And then there's another thing, like just literally, I've been researching 11 Labs. I don't know if I'm sure you know 11 Labs. To get the podcast basically translated through, I'm not sure what they call it, like an AI bot that clones my voice, and so I have the same. So I could speak to you. Basically, it sounds like I'm speaking to you in Swedish with my own particular tone of voice and everything. And we've looked into this to get the podcast literally in Portuguese, in Russian, in Mandarin, in Swedish, or whatever, to sort of increase. Now, I think it's at early stages at the moment because there's so much nuance in language, and I think they're limited to 30 minutes. But there are so many, and if I can start producing this podcast in different languages, and we're quadrupling our reach, yeah, fantastic, so interesting. But do you know any sort of sales things that we could be using here, utilizing at the podcast?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
This is it's a little bit like I view it as it's both an opportunity, but then also the competition is going up because everybody else have access to the same tools as you.
Yeah.
And that, like, I think I saw some charts that was diving into like how many like outreach messages that get sent every, like, I think it was every month or something, and how it has been with AI, like, been skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So because more people have access to the tools, that means that, like, let's say like this, in the past, let's say you sent, like, everybody was sending out like 100 messages a month. Now they send out 10,000. And that means that it's much harder to stand out and cut through the noise, basically. So there is a lot of really good tools out there. Like even in you can use all of this in Claude or in OpenAI. Those have like different connectors that you can connect to them, and you can build an agent in Claude or in OpenAI that you can do all outreach in the world with. So it's all standing out, and then when everybody have access to it, that means that the competition is going up so drastically, and then you have to get more creative, because then what other people do is that they do, let's say you do a face, let's say you record a Loom video, and then they do video outreach that is using AI to. There's a company that raised like a few $100 million, that their only job is to build sales avatars where you have kind of cloned your face and then your voice, and then the only thing it does is reaching out to people with that, pitching your services. Because then people get more creative, and the competition is going up, which is a scary thing to think about, because where are we going to be in 1 year from now? Is it just going to be one company that controls all of the outreach, or where are we going? But I think like for beginners and for people that want to just go, then I think you have to test and explore, and there's like a million different tools out there. If you go
Really?
to Claude and ask like, which is the best outreach tool for me to do XYZ, then they will give you like 3 tools that you can use yourself, and then you can just like test them out.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it, really, isn't it? Because it also seems to get feedback from people who are using these kind of things. It seems to sort of grow and adapt to your needs and how people are. What is the user using these things? How they're creating it, and you get this sort of feedback loop. I can also imagine like outreach is also going to be, I get 100 emails as well back from people trying to sell me stuff. So I can imagine in the future you're going to get sort of AIs talking to other AIs, trying to sell to another AI, and then that AI is then condensing the information just to give it to a human, saying, "Okay, are you interested in these 5?" Because and you can sort of specify or prompt the AI to say, "Okay, we're looking for this. So anything that comes in from all the outreach that's being sent to us, can you just condense it and refine it to this, because this is what we're looking for?" So it almost gets rid of any. It almost gets rid of any unique proposals. So if sometimes I get a unique proposal land in my inbox, and I go, "Oh, I never thought I needed that."
And this kind of takes it back like full circle back to where is the future heading, and where is the whole market going. And I think like that's why we are making a very big bet on in real life events. We have afterworks, we have builder days, we have hackathons. We try to meet up with a lot of our clients, our companies that we work with. And I think like that, because so much of it is just AI, then I think that what we're going to see is more like the human touch is going to make a stronger comeback. And that's what I hope for as well, because it's also more fun to be in real life, speaking with people and catching up with them. So that's also why, like, to go full circle, maybe AI is going to lead to actually not more digital, it's going to lead to more in real life. And that's
like the
kind of where
Yatesian Gaia. It goes so far
Exactly.
one way and then gets catapulted back the opposite.
Exactly. So that's where I think it's all going to end up, and that's why, we signed a 5-year lease on a I think 400 square meter office in the center of Lisbon, and we are making a lot of focus on the in real life.
And then hopefully
events.
AI systems will be able to give people the time to in the back office is just ticking over and outreach, and then the actual physical contact, it gives you time. It gives me time to go to Lisbon and to come there and shake hands with a bunch of people and start talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hate being bogged down by just sending emails and repetition and production. So yeah, I'd much rather, like I'm doing now, talking to somebody and speaking to someone and getting their opinion and their ideas and their creative thought processes. And I learned so much. It's one of the reasons for me doing the podcast is because I was fascinated to learn so much from so many interesting people. The human touch is super important. Although we are doing it remotely, but it's it's a start.
I think it's like when you speak and when you hear, like, when you see people, then, because of course, like we still, like, I listen to tons of podcasts every day. Like I think this morning I went out with my dogs and I listened to Sam Altman doing a podcast, and I just listened to it, and then I kind of like get to know him a little bit more. So I think podcast is a very valuable medium as well, just listening to cool stories and new unique ways of thinking and ideas.
Yeah, and it's something as well, because I often get. We were talking about this earlier about the video. I often get sort of companies approaching me saying, why don't you video your podcast? And I said, because I'm not sure how many people would prepare. Podcasts, you stick on your ears and you can do other things. You can mow the lawn, or you can make breakfast, or like you say, take the dog for a walk. It's it's the voice and the audio, and you don't get any distraction from the video, you know. But yeah, it's very super interesting. Interesting. I mean, yeah, you learn so much, and I think humans naturally, I think for millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, whatever, we have that need to communicate and to talk and to see each other, to meet, to congregate, to share ideas. I think this is a time-honored tradition, and if AI can provide us and systems can provide us with more time to do this, it would be amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a wild world we live in, and it's just accelerating. And you look back 1 year ago, and then you see today like what you could achieve, and then
Yeah,
but it's
2 years ago, I was not even using ChatGPT. I kept hearing people talking about it and going, "Oh, what's this ChatGPT?" And then and actually, I started using it because my sister got a birthday card, and it said on this birthday card, it was like, "Mom, you're the most amazing mother, and I love you so much, and you've done so much for me in my life, and you're always supporting me." And then it's signed ChatGPT, and it's was from her son. And I was like, "What is this ChatGPT? This is really very funny." And and I started looking into it from that. But yeah, and it's fundamental now. I use it for so many things, daily basis. Claude, Anthropic, whatever. I have a bunch of them on my phone, and I just I swap between different projects on different things. Yeah. When's your next meetup? When do you guys move into the office?
we have been in the office for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
We have an event tonight
Okay.
with Claude. So it's going to be a Claude Anthropic after work. And I think we actually put up the link to it, and we got like, I think almost let me see how much, I think 350 or almost 400 signups.
If you haven't already switched to Revolut, now is the perfect time. I use Revolut Personal to manage my everyday money, spending, saving, sending across borders. You can hold over 30 currencies, transfer internationally at great rates, and even earn daily interest on your savings. It's smart, fast, and used by more than 60 million people worldwide. And if you run a business, Revolut has even more powerful solutions. Revolut Business gives you a global account built for growth, multi-currency accounts, team cards, spending controls, international transfers, and easy ways to get paid. It's streamlined, affordable, and designed to scale with your business. Here's the best part. Sign up for Revolut Personal with my link below and join me on one of the most advanced money apps available. And if you're a founder or a business owner, use my Revolut Business referral link and get your first month with no subscription fees. Whether it's for your personal finances or your business, Revolut has you covered, all in one place. Is this sort of open to the public, and how do people get in contact with you if it is, or what's the sort of setup?
So it's we host most of our event via Lunar. So it's like a platform where where you host events. We do it once every, like, sometimes now we have been doing it weekly the last couple of weeks now, because it's so much excitement and so much happening, and so many teams that wanna collaborate around it. But otherwise we do it like once every couple of weeks or once every month. And they are generally open to the public, but when it gets oversubscribed, then maybe we let in half of the people or a little bit less. Generally, we want to meet founders, builders, investors, and people that are out there building with the tools. And we always give priority to those people that are like out building and that are out doing stuff, because we want to curate our events and make sure that we get a good group of people coming together when there's enough to work, so that good networking. So if you want to learn about it, then if you search on Luma, like Espressio AI events, you probably will find it.
When you say it's Lunar or Lumer?
So the platform is called Luma. Is one of the primary it's like Meetup. It's one of those platforms. Luma.com.
Right.
It's like a platform with all events. They have like daily daily events all across Lisbon and across Portugal there from other companies and everything. And we post most of our events there as the platform.
Okay. And you search under that Espressio AI.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is it like? For some of the listeners, they won't understand what a sort of an after work is. So it's you have sort of guest speakers talking about particular things, and then workshops, or how does it sort of work?
So we usually have like a partner, a sponsor that pays for like some drinks and food. Like tonight we did catering from Subway. So it's
Cool.
usually like we start at 5. The first hour is just networking, getting to know everybody there, chatting around. I go around and our team is chatting with everybody. And then at 6, we start with like 2-3 presentations, like demos, or I think today we have a TEDx speaker actually that is going to come and talk about building content engines with Claude. And then we have another person that is going to do a demo of how to build up like a good skill in Claude that you can use for creating content as well. We also have some diving into the Claude Academy, which is their free course. And then we have a little panel, and it's usually for like an hour of talks. And then afterwards is another hour of networking and just getting to know AI leaders,
kind
basically.
of Q&A and brilliant. That sounds amazing. And is this something that's happening elsewhere? I'm sure it's happening elsewhere in the world, but it seems to be happening a lot here in Lisbon. So is this is this something that you're seeing elsewhere, or?
Yeah, there are a few other companies that have like co-working spaces and so on that are doing it but all of them are a little bit outside of Lisbon, and we are in the center. So I think if you take like in the center near Marrakesh, then we are the primary one right now that is hosting a lot of events. Otherwise, there are some co-working spaces a little bit outside, like maybe 20 minutes with a car from it, where in a few different places. But we also collaborate with them, and these events, like for us, it's like we don't make any revenue from it. It's more to network and meet the people. So it's it's a lot of fun as well to catch up with other leaders.
Did you use Claude or ChatGPT? Did you enter in a prompt like, how did we sort of get more networking going in Lisbon?
We use a lot of AI to do our distribution and marketing for the events. We did start with events like before ChatGPT. So we did start with it back in, I think, 2021 or 2022. We started to host events back then. So we've been doing it for almost 4 years. So it has always been like there. But of course, now in the AI world, we can host so many more of them, and we can achieve so much more. We can reach out to more people. We can do better marketing. We can get better data on all of the people coming, and we can prepare like an agenda or script for the panels and so on with AI, and it gets so much better.
A little bit off subject here, but I know personally from my own use of AI, and and this is sort of how I come from a perspective of understanding AI a little bit better and what it can be. And I'm sort of one of these people that likes to have ideas and businesses and stuff like this, but I never have seemed to have the time to implement anything. And so I kind of like thrashing them out a little bit with AI tools. And what I've found is it seems to always tell me what I want to hear. It says, yeah, Justin, this could be a fantastic opportunity, and you're going to make this amount of revenue, and is there a caveat there? Do people have to sort of be a little bit cautious that AI models tend to feed people what they want to hear and might not necessarily. I do actually see. I think it's Claude that says this. It says AI can be wrong in brackets at the bottom. Are you seeing this? It's a sort of. Is there something inbuilt in AI where it sort of wants to please its owner? Like a dog.
Probably with like the default settings, but then you could also go to Claude and go to skills and create a skill that says always criticize what I write, always be negative, and never make me happy. And you can write that into the settings, and then I can promise you will get the complete opposite experience, because then every time it will say like this. Okay, so Justin, you ask Claude, like, how can I make revenue? And then it comes back with, you're never going to make any revenue, just give up. So you can do it that direction as well if you give it those instructions. So it comes back to like what are you trying to achieve? Then maybe the default settings would be in that direction, because that's what most people want.
Okay.
But if you want the opposite, like you want an AI to come in and roast you, then you can just change the settings and say, roast me every time.
Okay,
and then
that's so interesting. I usually do it in the prompt. So I'll do a prompt saying, look, can you give me a worst case scenario, a reasonable experience scenario, and a positive scenario, and I usually get sort of 3 different answers, basically from the prompt. But I wrote a book recently. I wrote a small novel.
Okay.
And I did that very same thing, because I uploaded it to Perplexity, to different platforms. I said, can you review this novel? And I got like raving reviews from her. It's like, so you start thinking, oh wow, I could be a really good writer and blah blah blah. And then I sort of said, okay, maybe it's telling me what I want to hear. So I said, could you give a critical review of this? Don't hold back. And it just ripped the novel apart. And I was thinking, okay, this is interesting. This is something to be aware of with AI tools for sure. And I think anybody out there that's going to chuck a load of money into a business idea that they might have, just to be aware of that don't necessarily believe everything that you hear from your AI.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Good. Well, Tim, it's been really fantastic to talk to you. It's an interesting subject, and maybe sometime in the future we could meet up and talk again. Maybe do a live one. That would be super cool. It's a subject I know very little about. So and I'm always open to learning, and I'm very happy to hear that you are creating these events where people can learn more and see how they can create opportunities for themselves and their families and the future.
Absolutely. We have a podcast studio in our office as well. So would love to
really? Okay.
To explore that in the future as well. So yeah, good. Always nice catching up with fellow people living in Portugal. It's such a beautiful place. So many smart people all over the place. And that's why me and my wife, she's British, and we have been living now here for almost 8 years soon. So it's a beautiful place, and we need to do what we can to help Lisbon and Portugal lead in the AI space.
Yeah, I mean it's a super interesting country, and I think because of the size of it, it seems to be able to adapt fairly quickly to new ideas and new technologies. And I think the powers that be seem to be quite open to it, and seem to be quite informed. So yeah, it's all positive. I'm very positive. I'm a very positive person about Europe, and I think we have great opportunities here. And I think it looks good. The future looks good, although at the moment it's a little bit crazy. But I think, like the internet, things sort of settle out, and you get the major players, and then comes the next thing, whatever that's going to be. Probably something on Mars, or who knows? Who knows what the future bring? I mean, who knew that AI was going to be so fundamentally important? Well, you probably did, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and crazy space. All right, Tim. Well, thank you. And how can people get in contact with you? What's the best way? They can follow you on Instagram, or basically, what would be your sort of call to action that you would prefer me to? Because I'll leave it in the show notes, in the show summary. There'll be a direct link to wherever you want people to be directed to. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I create a lot of content on X and on LinkedIn. So I think those would be the two platforms. I create a lot of videos around AI tools, and everything else. So LinkedIn or X would be the go-to.
Great. So you heard it, people. I'll leave the links to Tim, to his LinkedIn and to X account in the show notes, so you can follow him and find out a little bit more about all the different things going on and what we talked about. Tim, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Always nice to chat.
No worries. Speak soon. Yeah, you too. Take care. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal signing out. What a good one. Out. 6 feet under the rock. If you're looking to level up your surfing, JWC has got a couple of ways to get you moving forward. I'm running in-person surf coaching sessions here in Portugal with flexible dates, so if you're traveling through or planning a trip, we can lock in a few sessions and work on exactly what your surfing needs. And thanks to our collaboration with SurfRec, the AI robotic filming system now operating in Ribeira de Ilhas and Carcavelos, you can get footage of your sessions. Just send me 5 clips and I break down every detail for you. But even if you're not in Portugal, no problem. You can send me up to 5 waves from anywhere in the world. Surf trip to Indo, comp heats, or your local surf break. Even wave pools. If you got the footage, I'm happy to analyze it. If you want to dive deeper into SurfRec, check out our Podcast Portugal episode 50 with Zé Ferreira. To book surf coaching sessions, to find out more about our immersive surf training camp schedule, online video analysis program, and special JWC rates for using SurfRec, head to justinwestcoaching.com. Direct links in the show notes. It's keeping me from my romance, that's still history.